going to paint a landscape and it's going to be nice and loose. This is literally just wallpaper that I have here. It's sort of the lining for underneath the wallpaper. I have charcoal so that you can see, because you can use a pencil if you want. But this is just a really quick way for you to learn how to do semi-abstract landscape quick. And we're going to start with the horizon. Everything has a horizon. So we're going to have nice right along the middle here, okay? Then we're going to have a lovely bit of headland coming in. And it's going to come down. We'll just pretend that there's like caves here. There's a beach called Macara Beach down in Donegal that I love. So I'm going to basically just think about that. Then over this side, there'll be a little bit more headland here, but this is your sea. This is your sea. This is your sky. This is your headland. This is your foreground here. So let's bring the waves down. So say the waves come to there. They're not very uniform. So what you're doing there is you're just a gestural drawing of what is in front of you. So if you're in a landscape, sitting in front of it, you will have headland, you will have sea, you will have sky, and you will have reflections. So just basically simplify. Now we have these lovely, do you like my party plates? I use party plates to paint. We have our primary colors. If you stay on my page, please subscribe for more demos. You will see that we use the primary colors for pretty much every demonstration. And I do encourage you to use a large brush. When you're learning how to do semi-abstract, you must embrace using a large brush so that you get rid of the detail. It's the quickest way to get rid of it. And what we're going to do, I don't have black paint on here, but I will add that. We're going to mix a nice, we're going to do some fun extra colors as well here. But first of all, we're going to mix a nice blue. Take your white first. There's probably strains of green from this before. This is just a regular old brush. We're going to mix a nice light blue for our sky. Then we're going to mix a little bit of yellow into it so that you just take that stark blue edge off it. Now mix plenty of paint because we want this to be nice and thick. So that's blue with a little bit of yellow. You start to go under the turquoise scale. Can you see that? For the purposes of this demo, I want you to just enjoy this. I'm going to bring a little bit more blue back into it. But that's your first color. That's your sky. You just take your brush, load it with paint, make sure there's a little bit of water on it. That will move the paint. Water moves the paint, remember. And we just plant that on. Lovely, big, broad strokes, bringing it right down to the horizon. Now, ways to change that are to take some white into that blue you've already mixed. And where we are down here, you can keep this a little bit darker and then make it nice and light and wispy sky. As you come up to the top, you can take a little bit more white into it so you get that real variation here. And then just pull one paint into the other. Whatever is in the sky will be reflected in the sea. So I'm just turning my brush on its side and I'm letting that be below. So we just think about this coming into here. Oh, I need to just stick this back on. Production. Just kidding, I don't have production. Okay, now I'm going to clean my brush. The good thing about whenever you use a heavy, big, thick brush is it will hold the paint. It can be the biggest pain in your butt, or you can lean into it. Lean into it, so then again, you're letting go of that control, because that's why we get so tight. We get tight in life as well. We get rigid, and then it means that we're actually putting ourselves detriment, because it means you miss out on the fun stuff. So I'm taking some red, big skip of it, a little bit of blue still on there, big skip of white. And another big skip of white. Okay, then you're going to take some yellow into that. So you mix it into this nice orangey kind of shade. Now, I don't have my black paint here, so I'm going to take a little bit of blue into this. Some more white. I had too much red to start with. But I'm going to let it be this fun, peachy, real stark peachy for my sand here in the foreground. Kind of garish, quite fun. And then I'm going to take a good big bit of yellow into that, make it more orangey, and just let it go on there. And then you're just planting down. Now, clean your brush. Let there be a little bit in between these two. Pull the two of them together. And that's going to be mostly on the blue side. But here, where the water comes in and where it comes into the sea, it becomes transparent, okay? So you can just start to imply that that's there. Leave it for that. Take your brush. Take another plate if you need. I love to know that a lot of my subscribers now use my method of party plates. I went really jazzy with these guys. Now I take the excess water off. And we're going to mix a nice green. So we've got yellow, we've got blue. We mix the green. It's always too stark for me. I don't like it. I just don't like it. Everyone's different. I'm taking some red into it so it becomes more of the brown scale. So it's just blue, yellow. I'm using lemon yellow there. Then I'm going to plant on these headlands. So I'm just changing how I move the brush a little bit more rugged because headland is rugged. And I'm letting that headland come down. I'm letting my brush be a little drier so there's a bit more character to it. And you can bring it right into the sea there where we are. Gorgeous. Now I'm going to mix another shade of that. So taking some blue and some yellow, a little bit more red again, nearly on the purpley shade. I like to use purple in my headlands. And we're just going to dot those in. Unfortunately, I picked up a bit of the blue from before, but a little bit more rugged. And your headland there. There we go. And then we're going to do our sea. So this brush starts to get really, you can get a cloth if you want, like a wet cloth is good. I see that there's some kitchen roll here on mine. And now we're going to do a purple sea. I'm going to go for purple. I am. So we're going to go for a little bit of red, big chunk of blue, even though I don't seem to have that much. I need it. So you get this nice stark purple. This is how you mix the primary colors to make secondary colors. Then we're going to take a big scoop of white into that. It's a lovely trick when I'm teaching kids. They hate their purple, and then I say, wait for the magic trick. And we add in a little bit of white, and it mixes this gorgeous purple. So this is my sea. Turning the brush inside again, and I'm just filling it in. It's not for everyone, but this is how you let go, because the brain already sees that, oh my goodness, she's done purple. She's done a purple sea. What is that? But we're leaning into it. So we're adding water to our brush. And we're just pulling the paint across. We're pulling the paint down so that we have this water coming in. We still have our reflections. We have nice little drips now. Add a little bit of darker blue for that. When we're further away, I don't have much blue here, but the further away the horizon is, the darker it shows. So if you can get that a bit darker, go for it. If you can get the front a little lighter, go for that. And that is your first introduction to really, really bright, fun, semi-abstract. So what we did was we changed just one thing. We just changed what the sea, the color of the sea was. The headland makes sense. The sky makes sense. The beach sort of makes sense. But now we get to do little finishers. Finishers are what I talk about with either the pencil or the charcoal that I started with. I'm going to finish that in the end. But the other finisher is bright white. So we have white. Let yourself enjoy this. Let's imagine there are some clouds. So here we go. Clouds. You can have them wispy. Then I'm going to keep adding my white. I'm going to change this foreground here a little bit so we can have a wee bit more waves coming in here. So the waves will come in. When they're further away, they're just wee small touches. Then I'm just going to dab in and let them be nice and dark and light as they see fit. Quite energetic. Bring the energy in. The tide is coming in towards you. And let those little waves come along. You can use your finger if you want. Always fun to get involved. But the water is rippling the whole way back. Now, just before we finish, I'm just going to use whatever's on my brush to change this slightly. This peach is, there we go, wee bit softer. Sand is never one color. I'm always teaching that to people. Sand is rarely one color. There's a wee bit of sand. I'm going to pull it up there as if there's a little bay here. And then I'm just going to take my charcoal piece of charcoal. And I'm going to fill in. Look at that nice line over it. Your pencil will do exactly the same if you're using a pencil. And then I'm going to look, I'm just letting it add in little extras. And then here, Where there's dark, there's light. So you want to add in a few undercurrents there of the waves. Same with here. Let the piece of charcoal bring the eye down. You can turn it on its side. If you want, you can add in a bit of wisp in the clouds. And there you go. That is our lovely Irish semi-abstract landscape in 15 minutes. Enjoy, give it a go. Let me know if there's any questions. Other things we could do here is we could take bright yellow. Sorry, this is why I tell you to move away, but you could take a bit of yellow and like so. To me, it maybe brightens it up a little too much for me, but we can always go over it. We can always come back. But enjoy, give it a go. Get that energy going and just lean into it. Semi-abstract landscape. Subscribe for more. My name's Ali Hart. I've been teaching for over 20 years and I love that I get to share this with you.